to cheer for Stephano to actually take a win here. If you're a Stephano fan or not, now's the time. He's one map away, guys, from retirement. I don't know how else to say it. That's how it is. As we have, spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here, as our Red Terran, playing an amazingly strong game number 1, representing Mousesports and Spain. Give it up for Lucifron. And up to the top left-hand corner, our blue Zerg, representing Evil Geniuses and France. Ladies and gents, give it up for Stephano.
One last time, baby. One last time. Let's see if it's going to be this map. Is Lucifron going to just end the dreams of Stephano? Doing well, he's, like I mentioned earlier, practicing to do well here. And was actually very happy that MVP was knocked out yesterday. Yeah. That was the one guy that gave him troubles last season. If we look at Stephano's career 2012 for WCS, he was untouched. There was just absolutely no one that could stop him.
No one.
In Europe, it was only Koreans that could ever beat Stephano. And that's a different story here. He's been, finishing earlier in tournaments and whatnot, losing a couple of Zerg versus Zergs here and there to lesser Zergs than himself. And he is drone scouting. I think this is a smart decision from Stephano, saying, you know what would be worse than just leaving this Series 0-2 was to fizzle out and being killed by a 2-Rex.
Exactly. This right here, this map, if Stephano doesn't actually step it up here against Lucifron, this could be the end of an era. As Stephano now scouts out and makes sure he's safe.
Yeah,
so
goes in and just sees the same build that Lucifron does every single game.
Yeah.
Every single game against Zerg. It's just 12 barracks, 12 gas, 4 a Reaper, and then just take his 3 command centers from there. It's just the same old Lucifron. And Stephano knows that here, so he may have a couple of different options to choose from here. He hasn't opted to take down a gas yet. He may play a more 4 to 6 Queen style, depending on how he wants to focus his economy, whether he takes a 3rd base earlier or not. These are the couple of things. There's not too many choices to make here as a Zerg player, but there's a few.
Now that drone just hiding on out as well down here. Spawning pool's going to finish up for Stephano in a second, and the Reaper now on the way to do the old scooter boot. And that was for all our lovely Canadians that are currently present. But anyway, as we do have the second Reaper going to follow this up. So we'll see how Lucifron is going to play this out.
And remember, this is not the last game of the evening, even though it kind of feels like a little bit with Stephano, potentially leaving the professional scene here, is that we do have the winner of these 2 plays going up against DuckDuck to find out who advances in 2nd place, alongside Whelmy, the Finnish player, the Finnish star, making his way through him first once again. And Stephano just poke in here. We'll see no 2nd gas taken, nothing else coming down here. And can probably presume with this drone scout that sneaked its way back in that the factory with the reactor is going to be placed down next. Nothing too crazy.
And we do indeed get tweets here from Mr. Alex Ninjamo. It's true thing, man. Ooh. It's true. Whoop.
Nice circling movement there.
Nice circling movement indeed. But guys, you should definitely tweet hashtag WCS. And if you want to cheer for Stephano, if you want to see him advance on through here, certainly hashtag that and cheer for Stephano. But likewise, Lucifron. And he's on the verge here of advancing forwards to play against DuckDuck, a player that Stephano was unable to vanquish. Oh, good Zergling positioning.
Yeah, just using the Zerglings really well here. Stephano's still not had a decision here to take gas. He's gone up to quite a few Queens now. They should be coming down actually within the next 10 seconds or so. So they do come down. And this is going to allow him to get to that Zergling speed, to get to his double evolution chamber, and just kind of set himself up to going into the mid stages.
Look at this though, Lucifron, the greedy man, going for that 2nd command center as well here. So he knows how he likes to play this matchup, and he's so good in this matchup. Stephano trying to claim a 3rd to the bottom left, but unable to do so. Ooh, just saves that drone barely there. Good save.
Yeah, good save. Just small little things that add up to a lot in the later stages, of course. The Overlord pokes in and sees, all right, same again. There's the factory on the reactor, there's the barracks, there's the 3rd command center, knows exactly what he's playing against. And this was the way that this series was always, every single time they would play out. It is going to be long. It is going to be a later stage of a game because the way that they both play. Lucifron's greedy, You all agree. Lucifron focuses very heavily on his economy. He doesn't really change his build-up. He knows that he's very strong when it gets up to building all the barracks and get the Marines streaming across the map and dropping in multiple locations. And Stephano's always up for the challenge. He's all right. You want to play like that? I'll do it too.
And I've got to ask Sean, in terms of going up against the style that Lucifron exhibited in game number 1, what do you do as Stephano? Do you say, well, to hell with kind of Roach, kind of Baneling Ling, and do you go for Mutalisks eventually? Is that what you go?
Well, yes, that's the usual way to play, but I'll hold that thought because he's playing different. And Hellions have made their way through here. A great queen block for Stephano, and he is helping the drones going down for now. But
gets a few there. How many does he get in the end? He got 5.
That's not too bad though. Just 5. Could have been worse.
This could have been a lot worse if you hadn't been careful. So good control there by Stephano in the end to actually shut that down. But likewise, Lucifron being very opportunistic there and finding the holes in his opponent's play, killing off the 5 drones. Not too bad.
So Stephano's changed up his style. This is actually Stephano. We talked about how Stephano really is the player that a lot of Zergs follow in their strategies.
Yeah.
In Wings of Liberty, before Widowmines even existed, Stephano was playing Roach Hydra. He was one of the first. He was the first to do it successfully, and he's playing the same now, or at least very heavy Roach to begin with, and then eventually Hydraless here as he takes his gas on the 3rd base and whatnot. Doesn't want to rush down the Hydra Den too fast. He's going to need to be able to have enough gas to be able to build 2-2, which is kind of the biggest point of getting the double evolution chambers. So doesn't want to throw it down too fast, but he's going to be playing a good style against Widowmines. Lucifron needs to identify that this is the case, and actually needs to identify that he needs tanks, bunkers, if Stephano continues to build aggressive units, not drones.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to make work as Roach Hydra in this matchup, and you said it eloquently, and he was the first one to play it successfully. There was lots of people trying out, sure, but the small nuances of it are a difficult thing to master. Stephano had that down. Loses a few drones here, just 1 or 2. So Lucifron getting small kills, and might even get another one, but no, does go for those extractors. So smart move there by Stephano, shuts it down in the end.
Yeah, I wonder if Lucifron's kind of realized yet, because I don't see anything in his play that indicates he's realized. He's seen a couple of Roaches, but that's also very normal from a Zerg player that's feeling threatened from, of course, Hellions running around. And the factory actually hasn't even been used yet. It's inside the main base, but only just now adding on a reactor to it. So it is going to be Widowmines to begin with. And that's perfect. Roaches tank a lot of damage from these, of course. The Widowmines don't do that well against Roaches and Hydras.
And now, well, that Hydralist then does go down here with that 2-2 on the way. And Lucifron's just setting himself up for the standard macro game that he would normally go into, with that 3rd base down, with the drops now beginning here. Overlords are well positioned to actually spot this preemptively, so he can set up his defenses accordingly, but it's not going to stop. Lucifron's not going to stop until he's done the damage he wants to.
Well, Lucifron gets in here, and of course drops are always good against a player that doesn't have anything to bring them down, whether it be Useless or Hydrals, but the first thing to note there is that he spotted that he's playing against Roach Hydra now. The first thing Lucifron does, apart from evacuating, is actually pull out his factory from the reactor and add it on with a tech lab and build another factory here to add on another tech lab. So he's switching over to tanks. So Stephano has a very narrow window to make this work. 2-2 is on its way. That's when the timing is naturally going to just happen for Stephano, but the more tanks that come in, the more likely Stephano loses this game. But one thing also there that Adebisi points out for us is that 2-2 never begun. Lucifron's like, holy crap, I'm playing against Roach Hydra. I need tanks now and I need them fast. Yeah. And he's forgot about 2-2.
All the gas is going to be pumped into those. But another clever thing here that Lucifron's actually doing is shutting down this creep spread quite aggressively, knowing that a Roach Hydra composition is all the more mobile in comparison to Lings that are always just super mobile anyway, or a Ling style, when you have good creep spread going. So Lucifron knows the importance of hitting this hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get Hydra's range and Hydra speed to still hit the 2-2 target.
Exactly.
So you need to move out. So Stephano's going to have to go very soon, but this Hydras are going to be slow. Lucifron, another thing that's very well is building tanks is keep on dropping. The only anti-air is Hydralist, so if the Hydrals are coming across the map, what does Stephano have to defend? And now we're going to see the big play. Roach is coming in, 2-2 near completion. Stephano needs to think about leaving for an attack soon.
And how well will that go is the question, because Lucifron's still hitting everywhere here, while trying to at least with these drops.
+2 attack! A transfuse comes down. I don't think it completes. No, it didn't complete.
It was just on the verge of completing. That's huge. Yeah. Roach is getting extra +2 from that. Hydralist was +1 with their attack speed.
And now there's a tank up there, and Stephano doesn't really know how many tanks there are. Of course, there's one, and there's so many Stim Marauders and Marines. Stephano's just going to get shut down here. I don't think he can break this. SCV's coming offline to make sure that he doesn't break it. And Stephano's still in a supply lead, still with a lot of roaches in supply, but he needs to find a weakness of Lucifron. Time is running out. 2 tanks are coming out. 2-2 is on the way, as well as +1 attack for these tanks. And Lucifron is doing his job well to keep Stephano back. But Stephano here, he's running out of time. It's just that simple.
I can't tell if his heart's racing faster or mine is. This is big here. Lucifron getting that +2 weapons is fantastic for him. As you see, the +2 weapons is on the way once again here for Stephano, but it's so delayed right now. A second evolution chamber finishes as well. He's trying to get the hive up and running with Enduring Locust. He's trying to go over to for Swarm Hosts. I don't think that's going to work.
Well, he's missed his timing, so he needs to kind of go with what he's got, and that's kind of Roach Hydra upgrades, missile attacks, but this is going to be obviously very painful as Lucifron comes in and snipes the hive from morphing. Lucifron deals a major blow here to Stephano. And once again, we're in a position. So let me just explain a little bit. So the reason why Stephano has a timing 2 hit. First of all, yes, Lucifron's going to stop it. But more importantly, Stephano does not have a long-term plan. He doesn't have a 4th base. He's on 3 base versus 3 base. He needs a 4th. He doesn't have melee upgrades, which, you know, help the Ultras, which help Broodlings and whatnot. And now he's kind of like, all right, it didn't work. The natural transition from this has to be Swarm Host. They're good with upgrades. Maybe I can make it work if I can get over, you know, to have a high amount of them and whatnot. But if we see any more damage dealt to Stephano, despite being at 200 supply, I feel he may not be able to recover from it. He's already been dealt a lot.
Stephano now needs the flanks. He needs perfect engagements here to shut this down, to keep his hopes alive in WCS Premier. As this engagement is going to be moving very quickly.
Look at that tank position.
It's so good.
But look at Stephano's flank.
There's the flank. There's the flank. Will he be able to make this work? He's coming in from both sides. This could be the engagement that Stephano needs, but at the same time, a lot of his army is actually dying off here. The Hydralisk actually closed the gap in the bio, as well as some of the Siege tanks are going down, but Stephano still plummeting in supply. Lucifron, despite the great flank, still is able to take the win in the engagement.
And this is it. This is how Stephano's going to end his StarCraft 2 career. The Swarm Hosts get exposed. The scan goes down. The 3rd hatchery is about to be breaking, as well as a drop inside the main base. Lucifron says, all right, I understand that you were one of the best StarCraft 2 players that the non-Korean scene had ever seen, but now it's not your time, my friend. It is my time. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to move on from this tournament. Stephano drops underneath 100 supply, and Lucifron is the player to knock Stephano out from the WCS. This is unrecoverable. He's trying his best. He knows that this is the end of it. Congratulations. And it is Lucifron that moves on with an acknowledgement from Stephano.
The reign of Stephano has come to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed